Hello and welcome back to All the Gear, Some Idea. So today we are back on the K100 and it has another issue. So it does appear it has an air leak from the throttle body area. So while riding it, you notice it feels like it's got a very slight misfire. The idle's a bit all over the place. And when spraying the intake system with brake cleaner, which is obviously flammable, it gets drawn into the engine. Because it's flammable, it will make the engine RPM increase. So when spraying them, bank 3 specifically, engine RPM increased. I'll do a video. I'm going to try to insert the video. So what we have to hopefully rectify this problem is a repair kit from K Parts Holland, which is an intake kit that they sell as a kit, and it comes with the clips that you need, and it also comes with the top trumpets and the lower bolt-on trumpets. So I'm hoping we'll be able to remove that plenum without actually taking anything majorly apart. I'm also going to show you how I've done my airflow meter, as I've had somebody message me and ask me, so we'll do that in this video, just show you what I've ordered, and I will hopefully be able to link the parts that I've ordered in the description below. We also have the breather that runs from the plenum to the crankcase, which is the breather between the two, as mine feels very squishy and it's got quite a lot of cracks around it, so that can also cause a problem that I also have. And I've not changed it yet. There's always little things that I haven't quite changed yet, even though the bike is nearly complete and it is being ridden on the road. It's still an ongoing thing, figuring out what it needs next and how to do stuff. I've also got some side stand springs, as the springs that were fitted originally were naffed, so we're going to be doing that as well, hopefully today. Okay, so let's crack on. Let's try and figure out how we get this plenum off. We're going to take the airflow meter off now, so I can show you how I've done it, and obviously at the end we'll be refitting it again anyway. So let's have a little look at that now and how I've done it. Okay, so to start off with, I have got a bracket that I've made that is a pretty standard right angle bracket that you can get from any sort of hardware place, such as Screwfix, Toolstation, B&Q. If you're in America, I'd imagine maybe Lowe's, or anywhere that will sell some sort of angle bracket. I then put it in a vise and physically bent it up, so I've given it a bit of a twist in the bracket. That has then allowed me to use one of the original mounting holes down here. It's allowed me to use a bolt hole here, and it's also allowed me to bolt into the actual frame. So what we've done underneath is I've basically just used a big old bolt that has been screwed into, I believe that's one of the original airbox mounting holes, a long bolt, and that's where I've attached my horn to. So that's given me sort of 2 applications for the same thing. That has then been supporting it up and down, so there's no movement in this airflow meter whatsoever. It's all sort of supported. The actual 90-degree part I've got here is from AliExpress. The air filter that originally came with it was quite small. This air filter came from a person on eBay who sells the 3D printed version of this, but the airflow meter has to sit on its side. Now, I found whenever I tried to run it on its side, the bike wouldn't run properly. So the only problem you do have is obviously trying to remove these screws, because they're covered. Whoever has designed it has made it exactly how I wanted it. However, it's a little bit of a pain to get those out. So I'm going to show you how I do that. It's very simple. I just use a long screwdriver. We'll get that off. We'll then unbolt the airflow meter, and I'll show you what pipe I've used on the inside. So I have a really long screwdriver, and we literally just undo them. And that's how we do it. So I don't actually need to remove them myself, but I'm just showing you. So as you can see here, the angle that this has to go in is pretty poor. But if you've got something long enough like that, it does work. Okay, so now we're going to remove this bracket here. So that is what I've fitted myself. So that should then allow movement up and down. Now what we need to do, I'll show you in here. Okay, so now we're going to remove that tubely there, to be able to then pull the airflow meter off the actual plenum itself. So hopefully that's enough. There she goes. That was a nice little tight fit in there. Okay, so what I've used for the airflow meter to the plenum side is a reducer hose. I can't remember where I bought it from, as in company-wise, but I know it was from eBay. But if I'm honest, it fits perfect when you have bigger Jubilees on there. Definitely need to have some sort of bracketry made up to make it work. I've had it just resting in there before it was actually on the road. And even when it was idling, sometimes this would just fall off. So yeah, definitely make sure that that's what you do. But yeah, that's the unit itself that I've sort of made up with the bracket there. Look. So now I'm going to see how we get the plenum out. Okay, so what I've done is using some picks and a screwdriver, I've managed to loosen these off. I have removed the fuel tank. Now you will have to do that because the way the fuel tank comes across down here, it does get in the way. So I'm just going to remove the breather on the right hand side of the plenum, which we're obviously going to be replacing anyway. I've also moved the return line that comes from the pressure regulating valve on the other side. I pushed that through so it's not in the way. And now I'm hoping we can pull that up and pull this one off. So that's off, we keep that separate. I'm hoping we've got enough room to pull it out. Like so. Now I am going to see if I can get a new plenum, which I probably should have done beforehand, as mine is a bit ratty, but she's off. Not too much work, and she's off. So now we can see within the throttle bodies. This is the breather we're going to be replacing, so we get that whipped off. And this is the fuel hose we're replacing, so hopefully you can see in there. It starts to eat away at the bit in the braiding inside. If I do that, hopefully you can see how badly perished it is. And it's pretty much brand new. It's not been on there very long, so that's slightly annoying for the amount of time it's been on there. We're also replacing something about the other hose, which is this one just here, because it's not a formed hose. So we'll take that off now anyway. I suppose it's annoying having the braiding on the hose because you can't actually see what's underneath the braiding. So I'm glad I've checked. And that's the breather off. So if you look in here, so you can see in here, it's got a split in it, and that's just after where it had been clamped to. And it's all perished around here, you can see. So, good job of replacing it. It is still a genuine BM part, and if we start to manipulate the rubber, start to see all the cracks coming into it. It's definitely needing replacement. Okay, so next what we're going to do is remove the actual throttle bodies, and I don't want to remove too much of it. I just want to pop it up and move it away. That's it lifted up, and she's popped. So I'm hoping we can just push that forward, like so. Now obviously I'm going to make sure there's nothing that's going to drop into these holes, because that'll go straight into the engine. That's not what you want. You definitely do not want that. So we will remove these. Okay, so that's all of those out of there now. Give that a little clean up once we're done. And then just to inspect these really, that one looks okay. It's quite hard. That's number 4. So number 3 was one we had an issue with. It's missing a part of the top ring. You see where it's starting to, the rubber's being taken off. Number 2. Once again, not too bad. Oh, there you go. Split around here. You could probably repair it with silicone, but all it's going to do is continue to wear with the heat cycles it goes through. So that's why we're changing these. So let's take them off the plenum and see what we've got going on there. Okay, so I managed to take them off. I'm wondering if it was actually just the clips that were causing my problem, because they came off pretty easy. I can't see any splitting, but they are very hard. I believe they all look okay. So I wonder if it's just the clips that weren't quite sealed properly, which makes sense. Anyway, we've got new ones, so we know not going to be a problem in the future. So what I'm going to do is just lay them out, check we've got everything we need. Okay, so what we've done is bolted down the new ones of these, clean the faces up as well. Now what we need to do is bring the throttle bodies back on top without losing any clips. And then just need to send them home. Like that. There we go. They are down to their stops. Now what we can do is tighten up those clips. What I'd also recommend, once you've tightened them up, make sure that you check that the throttle bodies go to their full extent and back, because they can get stuck depending where you put the clips to. So that's just one thing to look out for. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so they are now all bolted down, and I've checked we have free movement. So all those jubilees at the bottom are solid and know where they need to be. So what we need to do now is take a look at the plenum. So as you can see, I've fitted these to it. Now inside the rubber, you've got a line on both sides, but the line is in a different point on both. One is in the middle, which is this side, and the other side is at the top. If you can see that. So the one that goes in the middle needs to go on the plenum side. So that will be this side here. Needs to go on here. Like so. So what we do now is crimp these top ones up, because I think it's easier to do it as it is at the moment with them off. And then we will crimp these ones once it's back together. Okay, so as you can see, she's back together. Now I understand this doesn't look very pretty here, but I have got some carbon trims coming for that, so that'll be mint. All this is all done. Annoyingly, the tool that I got from K-Parts Holland, it was only about £10, but it doesn't actually do up. So there's a screw on the end of this, and there's no actual, the threads aren't big enough inside to catch the threads on this. So you can pretty much just push it back together. It's a bit of a pain, but it is what it is at the end of the day. I might be able to make something out of it. I will now show you how we put the airflow meter back together, and we'll get it started. Okay, so need to get the airflow meter back in. So put the Jubilee around the top, then feed it in. Okay, so that is the K100 done in regards of the intake system. So I have ridden the bike, it does run, it does start. And I've ridden it and it rides much better. It does ride much better. What I need to do now is a throttle body synchronization, as well as there's some brass screws, and I have looked at how you adjust those. I need to remember how you do it. So hopefully the next video will be me doing a throttle body synchronization, and then that will hopefully make the bike 100%. So yeah, everything's done. I've shown you how to do the airflow meter. The bits will be in the description below. The parts from K-Parts Holland I will link as well. Unfortunately, the fuel hose that I mentioned, I ordered the wrong one, so I've used it where it's supposed to go because it's a genuine hose, but I haven't changed the one I was going to change. So to look in to see if I can get that singular hose. In the background, I've also fitted a oil light and also a coolant temp sensor light, which is at the moment an engine management light that's there. I've ordered some more. Once I get the ones I'm actually going to fit permanently, I'll do another video on that as well. Just, I don't like the fact that the clocks don't have a oil light or a temperature sensor light. And the bike feels like it gets hot. I think it just does generally get hot from where the engine is, but I want to be able to maintain the fact that I can tell if it's got an oil pressure fault or if it's starting to overheat. So yeah, hopefully this video has been of some help to somebody. Yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.